So a few months ago I decided to upload this video in which I beat the world record of Yu-Gi-Oh! Tag Force 4. And I wanted to make this exact video what I'm doing right now once I finish this. Unfortunately I didn't manage to do so. I didn't think it would match the qualities of these videos, and I also wasn't in the mood of doing the video. So even though it's been 2 months or almost 3 months, I decided to do this video and finally make an analysis slash reaction of my Tag Force world record, former world record, excuse me. The reason why I'm not doing a reaction to the actual world records is simply because I don't own that footage, and I think it's more fair if Dimatorian did that for himself. So let us begin. So it's pretty usual to get started right from the get-go, and few things that I noticed, let's say a month after I started speedrunning this game, is that I don't need to save the game, so that saves me a few seconds. I go to the options because I need to go faster. In general, you need to change few options, for example the messaging speed of characters. I skip rock paper scissors because it's waste of a time. This timer down below is a fake timer, and the reason why that is because I didn't turn on the light split application on my OBS. That part of the scene wasn't turned on. The reason being is because in January I was recording a Tag Force 1 video and did the speedrun on my first attempt, and after I stopped recording I was going to record a video on my phone.
Look at this, look at this, look at the time. What?
Oh no. And then I realized that live split wasn't showing, so I had to render this, and that's something that I wanna tell you. Hopefully this doesn't wanna get me in trouble, but alright. What I'm doing right now is that I'm searching for the MC, the main commentator in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. Reason being is because he gives you various things, and the thing that I'm searching for, or the thing that I want from the MC, is money, which is 2000 dueling points, which you'll see what will allow me to do in just a second. And we finally managed to get the MC under the 3rd minute, around 2 minutes and 30, which is really nice. And here you go, at my first attempt, which happens rarely, I get 2000 DP from the MC, which saves me a lot of time because otherwise I could have... so what I do before I get to the MC is I save my game so I can get more boosts, or it's like a pachinko machine. You get various things, and if I don't get it from the get-go, from the first, you know. Luckily enough I get it from the first pull, from the first click or whatever, and now I'm going to Bakali, which would get me to Saiga, a character in 5Ds, you know. He's known to having a lot of information. You have to pay him 600 dueling point, and what it allows you to do is allows you to get to see where various characters are. For example, you can see where Yusei is, Jack Atlas is, Akiza is, Lua, Luca, and Mr. I think, oh, and Nushio. The second thing that it gives you is a rating on their mini games. When you talk to them, you have a different amount of mini games, and you can judge by the levels or stars. You know, you can see how many mini games are left by that, which is kinda nice to have, but not really necessary anyways. I purchase this, and then I go to use the rest of my money, and it is right here in the downtown district. When I began speedrunning Tag Force 4, I saw speedrunners get this card from the rental machine, and I've done it ever since. So what I do right here is I change few cards. I add this card, I add one card from my side deck, which is Lightning Vortex. There are probably more cards that I can add, but I'm too sick of thinking of which cards that I should add. Something that I've noticed after speedrunning for months is that there are two cards that are pretty much unnecessary for this deck, and These are both level 1 monsters, so I get rid of them as fast as I could, and I exit the deck with exactly 40 cards. Then I go to the next machine right next to that, and that machine gives me items which could be used for the characters you give them, and that improves their heart bar, heart rate, whatever you want to call this, sex appeal in a way. So what I'm doing next is I'm heading to my partner, which is Misty, and Misty is the best option for a few reasons. First of all, she's easy to use items with. Items are specific for specific characters, and Misty pretty much likes a lot of items, and she likes the easiest items to get, and the easiest type of items to get from that vending machine are the card related items. Anyways, let's go over the mini games. They're pretty much boring and they're pretty much repetitive, but you need to fulfill her heart 4 times. I really don't know how to talk about this because it's a weird way. Fulfill her heart. The first mini games is guess the name of the card or guess the type of a card. Something that I forgot to mention. Alright, the next mini game is rock, paper, scissors, and what you need to know about Misty is that you never need to use, and you should never use the cry options slash the scissors options. It's either smile or get angry. That's the only options you have. Another thing that I need to mention about levels is that by beating 6 mini games in a row, that gets you to the next level of a mini game. What level pretty much means is that you have less time, and that's most of it, I guess. So yeah. And let's go over. It's pretty boring. The third mini game is something like a maze. It's pretty much the most enjoyable mini game out of the all, and yeah, that's pretty much it. After you finish playing mini games, you would have this area where you can no longer play the mini games, and as I told you before, you can just give her items. Also, I've tried something, you cannot skip the heart event, unfortunately. What will happen is that the pinkish color will change to red, and the next day you will have to change that red heart to pink once again, and you get to the next day and you have to play through the heart event. So unfortunately you cannot skip the heart event to make this speedrun broken as fuck. So what I'm doing right here is I'm partnering up with Misty because I don't wanna spend any more items. Another thing that I can do is go and play mini games for different characters while being partnered with Misty, which improves her hard bar status, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Another thing that I'm doing right here is that I go to this area, which is where the first heart event would begin. I pretty much get immediately to her pink heart rate. I end the day, and the first heart event begins, which is a duel between me, Misty, against Ushio and Carly. It takes on average around 1 minute from the pop-up of the heart event thing to the start of the duel. It takes around 1 minute to get to that, if you're ever curious, which means 1 minute of pressing X slash doing nothing. You should always go first on tag duels because your partner is always going to be the first one to play. So if you're going first in a tag duel, you technically go, on the third turn instead of the fourth. And it's pretty much better for you since CPUs are not the best in controlling what they do. I will get to skip to the end of this duel because I'm not really interested in what's going to happen, and I managed to end the duel by the 14th minute, which is another thing that I need to mention is that once you get past the 17-minute mark, I guess, on the first heart event, the end of this duel, it would probably mean in a way that you've lost your chance of getting the world record. Tag Force is really reliant on RNG, and that's quite unfortunate. And anyways, you get another pair of conversation that takes some of your time. On the next day, which is day 3, I get to search for Misty once again, and once I find her, I play minigames. I play her minigames. For let's say, I managed to in 5 minutes, which is quite nice. Anyways, the second heart event is the most annoying and the hardest one, because Luca has a deck that prevents you from doing anything. She has a deck that prevents you from attacking, from destroying monsters. She has cards that allow her to give herself life points, and it's pretty annoying. And you just have to be lucky to go past her. Here's Swords of Revealing Light, and I get to destroy that card with my 1800 beat stick, and I'm skipping another Swords of Revealing Light, or that's the same one, I'm not really sure, but we got rid of that once again, or Misty got rid of that. Alright, it's been going quite smooth, and to be honest, this is the same, oh no, a third Swords of Revealing Light, or Swords of Revealing Light for the third time. God damn, and I activate the Beatstick's effect once again, Abyss Soldier's effect once again. I'm wondering what to do, even though it's pretty much decided on what to do. Let's see, how much time do I spend on this? If I spend a few more seconds on this, I could have probably lost my chance for world record, by the way, right here in this area. Because it's better to waste a little bit of time, even though it's a speedrun, than failing the entire speedruns. And it took me 8 seconds to think of this anyways. There's also, you know, a suspicion about the set card, which did nothing in this turn of events, which I'm really happy about, and I get to finish the second heart event by 23 minutes and 50 seconds, which is really fast. I could be lucky if I get to finish it by the 25th minute. By the way, once again, this is my first attempt of the day. I just got back from outside. It's around, not just got back, but let's say I got back at around 9 PM. I get to watch Trash Days podcast featuring Premiere 2. After watching around 30 minutes of it, I decided to put it on my second monitor. I was feeling shitty for quite some time, and I watched, you know, Pete talking about his struggles, and it was, oh man, I'm not really having the worst. This guy right here is it's a fucking great man. He's having the toughest of times, and he manages, you know, to be living through those. So that kind of inspired me to do a speedrun, even though I was kind of down. But I wasn't thinking of getting a world record and all of that just... And it always happens, alright, it always happens that I get something going very well for me when I don't want it. Or because when I usually start a Tag Force speedrun, and there have been a bunch of times where I've recorded this, so I should have been on my stream on this, where I would be like, this is going to be the run, 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 and it's not the run, it's never the run, but you know, it sometimes happens, or a lot of times happens for me. Alright, after I finished the first heart event, I was like, good time. After I finished the second heart event, I was like, yeah, that's good pace and good time. But this has happened many times before on a speedrun, or just these things happen in speedrun in general, where at the start it goes well. Even in the hard areas you sometimes get pressed to them really fastly. But I was like, no, I will choke somewhere. And I was like, this is probably not going to be a world record run, so I continued to play the game. What time did it take me actually? It took me, what is it? 3 minutes and 40 seconds to get to fulfill her third heart. That was quite fast, goddamn. And considering the fact that I'm using way less items than Dimatorian. But still, at the end of the day, he passed me by 3 minutes, which is goddamn it. Anyways, we get to the third heart event, which is between Jack Atlas and a random character. Hell yeah, man. And Taco. Anyways, there isn't much to say about Jack Atlas and Tacos. They're easier than Lua and Luca. So yeah, obviously they have their annoying bunch of trap cards, but it's quite expected coming from a tag duo, and they're not really the hardest, but oh, Swords of Revealing Light while I'm talking about it. There are annoying cards for speedruns. Alright. What I mentioned before, you know, with the first and second heart event getting beaten really fast, I was like, I could choke somewhere, so I'm not really expecting anything. I was just playing fine and didn't really care or didn't expect that I would get to beat the game. And then I looked at the time when I finished the third heart event, and I was like, I actually have a chance. There was two feelings, two thoughts at this exact time. There was, I have the chance to get the world record, and at the same time I was like, I'm going to choke somewhere. Pretty much start playing mysterious minigames at 32:10, and let's see how long it takes me. Alright, it takes me a little bit longer, but 4 minutes is still really fantastic. Anyways, the next thing that you need to do is change Misty's deck, and by change I mean sabotage her entire deck. What I'm doing right now, right after partnering with her, is I'm going through the area where the fourth heart event is going to be, since, you know, that is going to save me some time if I do this right now. Anyways, I go to her deck, and this is the worst part of the speedrun, and I'm really bad at this area where I have to change her deck. Even though the Matorian is using the scroll bar by going up and down, which is way slower than mine, he still manages to do it way faster than me, which is quite surprising. I need to practice this, but I haven't done so. So what I'm doing right here is I'm trying to put as many high level monsters as possible, so I can prevent her from summoning them and I can prevent her from pretty much playing, and that's what I'm trying to see right now. I was thinking of another thing that I do is I try to get as many useless spell and trap cards that are not necessary for her, and unfortunately what I decided to do is I decided to give her as many field spells as possible. I say unfortunate, but that's probably the safest option. Anyways, I've managed to finish her deck in 2 minutes, which I have to improve upon. And we start the fourth heart event, and I'm getting really excited, boy. So there was the thought of, oh my god, I actually have the chance to do this, and there was the thought I will choke somewhere. And then right after, you know, I realized these things, I was like, don't think about this, just go forward. Even if I don't get it now, even when I choke, I'll just continue to listen to / watch the Trash Taste podcast. Anyways, I unfortunately don't get enough monster cards, and also Misty takes some of her time to just put the same field spell as me, and then set another field spell, and then turn it back on, and then set a card, and that wasted some time. Anyways, once again, not really a good pair of monsters, but it is what it is. Let's go over to the battle phase where I ultimately beat her level 3 Gaga Gigabyte or whatever his name is. Poor guy, I know. Thinking, I don't get a monster card, blah blah blah, attack. Another pair of thinking and using another pair of field spells, and it's like, come on, allow me. Alright, it's my turn. I get to summon this monster, which allows you to get a level 3 monster upon the field, which is a cool thing, I guess. And I go over this, and let's see, 600. Shit, anyways, do I go over and do a synchro? No, this is the final turn, I guess. And I misclick here, and it's over. It's the world record, baby. It is the world record. And the video ends because YouTube algorithm doesn't allow you to have any time wasted. So yeah, this is going to do it with the video. I'm not really sure if I'm going to upload this on the Plebs Exit channel or Plebs channel. Otherwise, bye bye, Plebs wasn't here.